As you could tell, not the same intro that we usually do. That's because we're going to allow all the live stream people to get in. Little bit different this Monday night. But first, Caleb Pletz is here. My name's Caleb Nail. If it's a little more echoey in my room, that's because I moved the big bed out for the little guy. He's 2 now, Caleb. So we said, you got to sleep in your own bed. No more crib. Getting ready for sister to come soon. So I don't have anything to soak up sound in here anymore, other than the Fresno State posters in the back. But we're going to have a good time regardless. We took a little summer break, unintentionally, but we took a summer break. and what you said, a summer rejuvenation? I think
a little summer recharge. I mean, it might not seem like a lot of work to some people, but doing this every week is a bit of work that we do have to prepare for and set aside time for. So, yeah, it's been nice to take a couple weeks off and just get ready for football, because I mean, football is when we're going full speed ahead, and I mean, most fun 3.5 months of the year doing Beware. So I think we are getting ready, but I could tell last week I was ready to kind of get back to the grind. I found myself just on YouTube searching college football 2023 and just clicking videos and just seeing what would come up. So I'm definitely getting back into the football spirit and mentality. We are ready for some football.
Yeah, I had that moment too last week when I started going through for a second time rewatching Bud Elliott's Summer School on Cover 3. I keep up with him; he's still going. But now I'm rewatching him. I guess there's not enough college football content out there for us. But it's been a long time, and I'm ready for it. I'm excited. But Caleb, as people come in the chat, we're going to allow everybody to get in here. Bulldogs Bob, I see you. What's going on, man? Nothing important happened these past 2 weeks. I agree with that. Caleb, what happened over this past weekend? Recap me. What did you do? Anything fun and exciting?
Most recently, I built a bench out of wood with the assistance of my father-in-law. So we needed a new bench for our entryway. So it actually turned out pretty good. I'm happy with it. So now I'm learning how to be a little more skilled and building things. It's not natural to me. So just that, and my son, exactly. Yeah, I'm trying to be able to do something useful. When the economy crashes here, maybe this week. So just that, and my son's growing like crazy. He'll be 4 months tomorrow. So time is flying.
Is he crawling? No, he's not crawling.
Yeah, he's mostly just rolling, and he's starting to be able to sit up. So he's definitely growing. He's got a tooth coming in now. So I don't know. I don't know when you're supposed to hit all the milestones, but there's definitely stuff happening.
I just went through it and I forgot, so I couldn't tell you. Sorry.
I mean, I do feel like the last 4 months have been a blur, and I couldn't really tell you much detail. So.
When football is not around, that's good that it was a blur.
Exactly.
My brother gets married this Friday, Cole, who does basketball season with us. So we're getting ready for that. We took him on the bachelor party over the weekend, and it was good. And I will say, a little sneak peek before we get into everything. On Saturday morning, Cole and I sat down with new athletic director Garrett Classy, and we did a little pod. So there's going to be no video. So you're going to have to follow us on Spotify for all that. Spotify, iTunes. But I will work on trying to just upload the audio to YouTube. But we sat, and I made him do that the night after we stayed out all night for his bachelor party. It was good though. He needed that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to listening to that, because I wasn't able to make that conversation. I was on dad duty, and we're not going to get out of the house on late notice to get out to the winery. So I, along with all the listeners, are excited to see what Mr. Classy has to say. It
should be fun. He's a great guy. So, all right, Caleb, I think we should get into what we're going to talk about today. A lot of good stuff. The plan for the day or for the night is we're going to talk about the most overhyped team in the Mountain West. We are going to talk about the coaches poll that came out today, and the group of 5 guys released their preseason G5 power poll. So we got to talk about that. A lot of news, a lot of news about Michigan lately. So we're going to talk about the Michigan news. Student season tickets and ticket sales in general, thought you guys would want to know, and then we'll get to the mailbag. So we got to do this quick though, because Caleb, I got to get Caleb out of here so that he can be dad, take care of that tooth. So let me hit the music and let's do this thing. Hello, Red Wave. This, like we said, is Beware of Bulldogs. We are Caleb. That's Caleb. We make it easy for you here. All right. Caleb, let's get into this. Actually, sorry, I tricked you. Got to go follow the socials. X, Beware underscore Bulldogs. However, they changed it so that you have to have premium to go live on there. So we are live on my X right now. That was last second. That was game time. We did not know that was going on. This happened 5 minutes ago. So we're live over there. But I would recommend going over to YouTube, getting in the chat there, the live chat, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you're part of the Red Wave, or if you love college football or college sports in general. We do it all here. And get in the live chat. Everybody goes back and forth. We have a good time. I see Bulldogs Bob's here. The Big Mountain Podcast is here. What's going on, guys? Derek is here, finally able to catch us live. It's good to see you guys. Good to see you in the chat. So, Caleb, I want to start by this. Oh, actually, Bulldogs Bob, I did drop a little secret. Not a secret. Getting everybody fired up. We talked to new AD, Garrett Classy. So that's going to be coming out this week. My plan is that's going to come out Wednesday. So keep your eyes and ears open on Wednesday. What do you think of the new AD versus Terry based on your conversation? So Mr. Classy started 5 days. Well, when we talked to him on Saturday, he had been here for 5 days. But character-wise, I would say awesome guy, very relatable. Grew up on a dairy. He shared stories. And like we've shared before, unfortunately, some of the best parts about all this happen when the mics aren't, live. So, but behind the scenes, great guy, understands what's going on, knows how to work hard. I mean, the guy's waking up at 4 a.m. to milk cows, goes to school, comes home, milk the cows, go to bed, do the same thing. So that's what he did. So he relates. And we did ask him about this. I don't want to give everything away, but we did ask him, and I asked him, hey, you were at bigger programs. It was easier to make money. It's going to be different here. What are your plans? He answered those. I thought he did good, and he was honest with us. He wasn't political. As far as I know, he wasn't political. And he was very genuine with us and honest, and I really appreciated him. And he interacted with my wife and kid. I love that. Interacted with my parents, people around at the winery. It was great. And his plans that he has, I really liked. He also goes in that conversation on to talk about what he wants to improve. So Cole did a good job of coming up with a question saying, I'm giving way too much away. You're going to have to listen to it. Cole had a good question in there, but I kind of stole it from him like I usually do. But he did a great job. I like Classy. We never got Terry on, but Classy, man, he's all over it, and he's all for media. He's like, podcasting is media nowadays. So you get out there, go do it. So Caleb, Classy told us we better do a good job, and so now I am determined. Let's go do this. All right.
Love to hear it.
There's my long-winded answer. Sorry about that. All right, Caleb, most overhyped team in the Mountain West, and this came up because I saw the coaches poll. I saw the others receiving votes, and we'll get into that. Should I start with that? Should we start with that and then talk about the most overhyped team?
Sure. Yeah. I think that's a good foundation to lay.
Okay. Okay. It's a better transition. So, coaches poll was released this morning, I believe. And yesterday, the G5, the group of 5 guys released a poll, I guess you could say their power poll for group of 5 teams. And I didn't mind the group of 5 guys poll, but for the coaches poll, the reason it's taking me a while, okay, is because I'm going to share the screen with everybody. Share my screen so that you could see the coaches poll if you have not seen it. Okay, screen. Boom, boom, boom. No G5 schools, which is a bummer. And just, G5 Wi-Fi, Okay, boom. There it is. Okay. Here we go. Boom. Coaches poll, top 25. If you're on YouTube, it's there. For audio, Georgia 1, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Bama, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Michigan, Penn State, Florida State, Mizzou, LSU, Utah, Clemson, Tennessee, Oklahoma, K-State, Oklahoma State, Miami, A&M, Zona, NC State, USC, Southern Cal, Kansas, Iowa. There's your top 25. No G5. Caleb, what stands out to you first on the coaches poll before we talk about G5 not being on here or other things that come up? What stands out?
A lot of respect to a couple former Pac-2 members that are, I think, definitely overrated. I mean, Arizona, new coach, and I mean, yeah, they retained a lot of pieces from last year, but it's also new coach, new system. I don't know. Show me first. And then USC. Are you kidding me? Well, they were 5-7 last year, and they lost the Heisman Trophy winner. Caleb Williams, good name, #1 overall pick. So whoever's coming in after him is not going to be as good as him. And there's just a lot of challenges there with not having a defense and just a lot of challenges. Plus, they're moving into the Big Ten, so much tougher competition. So having USC ranked, I think, is probably a respect for the brand, but I have a hard time seeing them finishing in the top 25 at the end of the year.
Does a defensive coach make that much of a difference where we win 5 games one year, get a new defensive coach, bring in a couple transfers that are fun to talk about, and now we're 23 in the country? I will say preseason polls, right? Absolutely ridiculous. We all agree. Absolutely ridiculous, but they're fun because we get to talk about this. And I will say the reason they're most ridiculous is because they do, in my opinion, affect where teams end up eventually. If you're not ranked, it's way harder for you to get ranked.
Mm-hmm.
Tulane and USC could play the same schedule, first 4 games, both be 4-0. USC will be ranked 15 in the country. Tulane won't. That's just how it goes. Surprises for me, Notre Dame 7, really? I don't see it. And then I don't know about A&M. A&M's got a good team. Miami, I guess Cam Ward, but I'm like you, man. Prove it. You got to prove it to me. USC, I do like
Fresno State shut down Cam Ward 2 years ago, so yeah, I don't think he's that special.
Good point. Tennessee 15. They have a brand new quarterback. Well, apparently he's God's gift to football, but haven't seen him play. I don't know. Utah could be higher to me. I don't get this, Caleb. And it's a travesty that we don't have. I thought for sure maybe Memphis would be ranked because we've had a lot of preseason talk about Memphis, or I've heard a lot of that. Boise and Fresno State, and we'll get to others. None. I got none of them. And Iowa, we'll see. That's another prove it to me. I mean, in the chat, Bulldogs, it's fine. We're underrated. Bulldogs Bob. Fresno State does better as the hunter. Totally agree. Every time we get ranked, we lose. So don't rank us. We'll go 12-0 without being ranked. That's fine. Why does Miami and Texas A&M always start off ranked? Money. I don't know. I don't know. Michigan, too high at 8, should be 10-12. Yeah, I can't fight that. I can't I don't have a good argument to put them higher because they lost great pieces and the most important pieces. Most overhyped team has to be USC. I believe they'll be out of the rankings in the first few weeks. Just you and Caleb Pletz agree. If we were doing overhyped teams in the country, yes, I agree. Overhyped number one would be USC. I will say I did like what I saw from Miller Moss, though, in the bowl game. So it could be fun. Carrie, what's going on? No G5 in top 25 equals no surprise. No surprise, indeed. Oklahoma at 16 is too high. Ole Miss, number 6. This is a Lane Kiffin effect. I don't. Go Dogs. I don't. I like Jackson Dart. But I don't know. Like, apparently, Ole Miss is that good. We'll see. I think they have a lot of returning pieces, though.
Yeah, and I think they had a lot of portal acquisitions, and so I think all the pieces are kind of there for if Lane's going to finally make it to SEC championship game. I think this has got to be the year.
I agree. Let's see this one. I got a picture to show you guys. Others receiving votes in the coaches poll. Washington was next in line. Then Louisville. I think Louisville could have been ranked. Then VTech. VTech has they are returning, I believe, offensively the most production. Maybe it was offense and defense, but they're returning a ton of production. Then you have SMU, not G5 anymore. Then Memphis. And then Boise State. That was no surprise to me. But then, Caleb, here we go. Sticking to G5. Liberty. And then we go to UNLV. Then UTSA, Tulane, Texas State, App State, Troy, Miami, Ohio, James Madison, Air Force. It ends there. It ends there.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, my first thought is I'm curious when they did this poll, because if they did this poll 2 weeks ago and Jeff Tedford is still, or maybe 3 weeks ago and Jeff Tedford's still at the helm, I mean, maybe there's a couple votes for Fresno State, but maybe, other coaches are writing off the Dogs and, seeing an interim coach, uncertainty, who knows, we're not going to give them, any benefit of the doubt there. But yeah, definitely, like Carrie's saying, definitely bulletin board material for the guys. And like Bob said earlier, I think this is the position that we would rather be in. An overlooked, kind of doubting this team. Can they put it together? And just ready to go, knock off all the big boys.
Let's do it. Let's start in the big house, baby. That would be fun. Okay, so that all comes out. It's going on the bulletin board in the locker room. I love it. Now I'm going to pull up the G5 guys, the group of 5 guys. They put out their G5 power poll, which I appreciate them doing because the G5, in my opinion, does not get enough love ever. So here it is. Here's a G5 power poll. They put up 25 teams with others receiving votes, 3 other schools. I'm going to run through the 25 like I did just real quick for audio. 1, then to 25. 1, Liberty, Memphis, Boise, Tulane, Miami, Ohio, Fresno State 6, Texas State, UNLV, App State, UTSA, James Madison, South Florida, Toledo, Jacksonville State, Wyoming. Is too many Jacksonville State, Wyoming, Western Kentucky, Troy, Louisiana Raging Cajuns, Army, Air Force, Colorado State, Northern Illinois, Arkansas State, Coastal Carolina, and FAU. That's your power poll. They did a Twitter space yesterday. I hopped on, so don't worry, guys. I represented Fresno State and the disrespect, but they're good guys. I appreciate what they did. But they had Liberty at number 1, and I asked, why Liberty number 1? Like, is it because weak schedule? Are we expecting them to go undefeated? And it was part of it. You got to start high and stay high. But Caleb, talk to me about your initial reaction. Tell me, and all of us, your initial reactions to the group of 5 guys G5 power poll.
Well, I'll focus first on the Mountain West because those are the teams that we're going to be playing this year. Wyoming ranked ahead of Air Force and Colorado State. That's a little surprising. I think that they're going to be a pretty new team this year. New coach, pretty sure new quarterback, and I can't remember the name of their line.
Whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it's are they going to have the same identity previously, or is this going to be a new coach and we're going to try to revamp Wyoming? I haven't done enough of my preseason research to be able to answer that, but that's a lot of respect to be given to Wyoming. I think that Colorado State is probably going to have a better outlook than Wyoming, just with a lot of returning production, returning coach, and being able to build on a couple of years there. So that's a little surprising there. The respect for Air Force, I think, should be there. They're always a tough team to play. So other than that, seeing a MAC team ranked ahead of us in this poll is a little surprising with Miami of Ohio. I mean, I think most college football analysts consider the MAC the weakest of the G5 conferences. So, but someone has to win that conference too. So, I mean, there has to be a good team there, I think. So
they're the returning champs. So the reigning champs, I should say.
Makes sense. So, yeah, that's kind of surprising, but you know what? At least there's a little bit of recognition there for Fresno State. And I think that this is probably more accurate representation of where, people should expect the Dogs to be with, an interim coach here. I don't think a whole lot is going to be missed here. And if anything, from what we've seen from Coach Skipper in early interviews, he really wants to have a hard-nosed identity for this team. So I think that really can only be an improvement and something positive for the team and the defense specifically. So yes, I'm rambling. So what were your thoughts?
I don't mind it. I 100% believe that if you put Fresno State and Miami, Ohio on any field, I don't care if it's neutral or in Ohio, Fresno State would win that game. I do. Bill L is asking, what is the criteria for this poll? Players on the roster or schedule? I believe it to be players on the roster is the main criteria. And, I don't mind Liberty being at 1 because they proved it last year that they can win what is put in front of them. It's not the players' fault that they have the worst schedule in the land. They won. I do like Caden Salter, their quarterback. I think he's a dual threat kid that I think is pretty good. Memphis, in my opinion, and Boise are 1 and 2. I think they easily beat Liberty. Tulane's interesting because you have a new quarterback coming in. It's Ty Thompson, transfer from Oregon. We'll lost out to Bo Nix, and then they bring all that money, Nike money, in and go grab Dylan Gabriel. So this is, in my opinion, this is what the G5 is going to look like in the future. You're going to have these 5-star guys going to these big schools that aren't going to get playing time because the studs are just transferring around, making a bunch of money. And now the Ty Thompsons and the Malachi Nelsons they transfer to our world, G5, which is good. I think, there's going to be more parity. So I don't mind. Gabbert is quarterback of Miami, Ohio. They have 2 very good linebackers there that I believe led the team in tackles. It had like 70% of their tackles. It was insane. But try catching Malik Sherrod first off. After that, I'm with you, Caleb. I think Colorado State's a little low. Next week, we're going to have surprise Mountain West teams, and Colorado State may show up there. So others receiving votes, ECU, Marshall, Bowling Green. I don't know too much about those schools, to be honest. JMU loses a lot. I thought they'd be high. That's generous at 11. I don't think they're doing a whole lot. So let's see what the chat is saying. Air Force is usually tough in the first half of the season. They're usually beaten up at the end, and the Falcons are young this year. Yes, they, I believe, returned 5 starters. So that is going to be tough for them. These pollsters don't know that the rest of the coaching staff is intact for Fresno State. If we are healthy, we should be in the Mountain West Conference title game. I agree. This is done by paper, right? A lot of these polls are done based off of paper. Unless you are a coach that has actually played against kids on the roster, and most of the time, they hand it to the intern or somebody else to fill it out. So it's all paper. And on paper, Fresno State loses their head coach, loses wide receivers and key pieces on the defense. But what they don't know is that every single coach is back. What was waiting behind the curtain is very good. Some just got injured. I mean, shoot. Here's something. I saw the NCAA football game, EA, College Football 25. Alzillian Hamilton and Cam Lockridge are the third and fourth corners on the depth chart.
That's crazy because if Cam is healthy, he is probably the best corner in the Mountain West.
No doubt. So anyway, so there's the polls. Caleb, let's talk about the most overhyped team. And if you're paying attention, you probably have the most overhyped team already in the chat. Let us know. Most overhyped team in the Mountain West, Caleb. You can give me one, you can give me two or three. Go for it.
I don't think we can start this list without listing Boise. So I think we have to start there. I mean, huge question mark with this new quarterback coming in. And if he even wins the job, I mean, haven't done my research yet, but I think that they still bring back a quarterback from last year. I don't remember his name, but lot of question marks there. I think that they do usually get some brand benefit of the doubt for a lot of previous seasons carrying forward, but they do have a new full-time head coach. That's new. They brought back Dirk Cutter on offense. I think he did good things for them coordinating. So, that could be a strength, but I think there's still a lot of uncertainty there. They have good returners on defense too. So, but I think I have to just put Boise in there regardless, just because of my allegiance to Fresno State. And besides that, I mean, I don't see UNLV performing as well this year as they did last year. Unless they have another stellar performance from the quarterback position. I just don't see it. I know that their head coach, Barry Odom, is pretty well regarded by most people and think he does a good job, but they lost their starting quarterback. That's obviously replaceable, but just seems like a lot of hype for a team that has been prior to last year. I mean, they were cellar dwellers in the Mountain West, and that was a pretty easy win every week. So I think that they still have a lot of prove it before we give them a little bit more respect.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Boise and UNLV are the teams that I would pick. Bill in here, who has a Boise logo in his profile pic, says Nelson won't start. Madsen will at quarterback.
All right, thank you, Bill.
Maddox Madsen. And the Big Mountain podcast says Madsen is better than Taylor Green. And Arkansas fans, you're going to be disappointed. I hope he's improved. As from human to human, I want the best for everybody. But from what I saw, if he hasn't taken a step forward, it's going to be tough for Arkansas fans.
Right. And especially with, their coach is on the hot seat too, from, most college football publications are saying. So that is a tough recipe for both of them.
Yeah. Then UNLV, I think, is my obvious number one choice. UNLV getting love from the coaches poll, getting love from a lot of these schools or publications. And I believe they're getting more love than Fresno State because Tedford left. Barry Odom surprised us, did a better job than we thought that he would have done, just based on the fact that UNLV was building a strong program with the previous head coach. Fun offense at UNLV. Their quarterback, they lose their top two quarterbacks. They bring in Sluka from Holy Cross. And my word, Caleb, the Las Vegas fans believe Sluka is God's gift to football and he's the next Heisman winner. I've seen it everywhere. I haven't seen the kid play. He had good numbers at Holy Cross, but it's FBS and FCS are different, especially in the Mountain West.
Boy, making that move, you got to wonder if he sold his soul. I mean, going from Holy Cross to Sin City, that's a questionable career move.
Yeah, well, we'll see. He's probably making more money. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Hey, man, you do not want to gain the world to lose your soul. I'll put it that way. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though. Where's the Mountain West strong? I believe the Mountain West is very strong in the front sevens. A lot of teams have a strong front seven. Fresno State has two really good DBs. I think Fresno State defense is going to surprise a lot of people this year. Teams are built, and well, teams know what UNLV do now. They saw them. They're not going to surprise anybody this year. I don't think that UNLV, well, let me put it this way. Yes, UNLV has a very talented roster. I'll give them that. But I don't think they're top 3 in the Mountain West this year. Even though they won nine games, they were in the Mountain West Championship last year, even though they should not have been. They were in the Mountain West Championship, lost to Boise. But I don't think that they have it this year. I don't know. I think Sluka needs some time. We will see, though. I think Fresno State and Boise are 1A, 1B. And then, well, I'm just going to give my surprise. I think Wyoming and Colorado State. That's where I think the top 4 are. And then I would probably go UNLV, Wyoming, 5A, 5B. We'll see, though. I don't know. I think Colorado State's going to be sneaky this year. I don't know. My hype pick from the Big Mountain Podcast, San Diego State. Very interesting. Yes, they turn over the roster. Defense will take a step back. I think it's going to be hard to keep what they had there, the production they had there. But people think Lewis is going to work miracles in year 1. I just don't see it. Undeserved hype, in my opinion. Okay.
See, when I'm thinking about San Diego State, I kind of see, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up in the top 4 at the end of the year, just because with a complete identity shift and just being able to score points, there's so many games where they're losing, 19-16, just weird field goal games. Or like if they actually had an offense that was competent and could score 4 to 5 touchdowns, I think that they're going to be pretty competitive in this conference. So, having now a coach that has a priority on offense, obviously it's tough to be able to, overhaul and kind of fit his scheme based on, the personnel that San Diego State has. But I mean, I've been saying this since the day we started this podcast. If San Diego State just had a competent quarterback, then they could easily dominate this conference and be up there consistently with Fresno State and Boise State. So I would not be surprised at all if they ended up having a really strong year just with a new offensive focus.
Bill agrees with me. UNLV won't make a bowl. Me and the Boise fans getting along. Thanks, Bill. All love here. Problem with Suds is that the city doesn't give a damn about them. That is also true.
That's true, Bob.
Okay. I think, it's funny. UNLV, I was thinking about it. I think UNLV is getting the Colorado treatment right now. Colorado's super hyped, great athletes. But can they put it all together? I doubt it. Are they really that good up front? I doubt it. And can their defense stop anyone? I mean, UNLV had a problem stopping people. And then, I mean, if you can stop Sluka and Ricky White, just going to load the box. And if they can't beat you on the ground and they can't beat you with Ricky White, what's going to happen?
And as long as you have good punt coverage, that's like their only other hyped player is like the punt returner. So as long as you have confident special teams, then you could take away that weapon too.
I shouldn't be saying too much because we should have lost to them last year. Guy Butterfingers in the end zone to win the game, and we won. So, Carrie is saying that Sluka does look good, very mobile. So, I can't say anything because I haven't seen him play at the FBS D1 level. So, we're going to find out. And I think it's making for a fun year, fun preseason where we get to talk like this. Okay, let's talk about the news that came out with Michigan. So I pulled up some things. So there's some things were released. Stallions scouted, and the reason we're talking about this, by the way, I should start with this, is because we play them week 1. So I just want to talk about these things. Stallions scouted at least 13 future Michigan opponents at least 58 times between 21 and 23. And then Sharon Moore could face some penalty and possible suspension for deleting, they gave a number, 52 text messages with Stallions in November or in October once the Stallion stuff came out. My opinion on all of this, Caleb, not that anyone cares what my opinion is on all this, is I think someone in the NCAA doesn't like Harbaugh. I mean, obviously. Mm-hmm. They fired him. They self-imposed like suspension on Harbaugh. During that time, right, when Stallions is fired, without him, they go win the national championship. They beat Ohio State without Harbaugh. It's legitimate. The NCAA said it was legitimate. And I think we just need to put this all to bed, in my opinion. But as a Fresno State fan, I wouldn't mind their head coach not being there when we play them.
Yeah, I agree. But definitely we just need to move on. I was reading that, yeah, it's likely that Moore is going to have at least a 1-game suspension. So I think that that's a strong possibility that Michigan is without their head coach in week 1. But I don't really see that as making a huge impact. Because like you said, Michigan was without Harbaugh for, at least 4 games last year. So they're going to have a system in place, and especially week 1. I mean, I don't know. They're just going to have everything set up. So I definitely think that Fresno State has a chance if maybe both their coordinators are out and the head coach, then that might put Michigan at a disadvantage. But I don't think it makes a huge difference in that matchup.
I agree. But I will say, perfect storm. If everything lines up, this could be a lot of fun for Fresno. Brian brings up an interesting point. It's not about likes, dislike. It's about an assault on the integrity of the game by slipping Jimmy and cheat again. I agree. But if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. No, I'm just kidding. I hate that saying. That's terrible. Look, yeah. It makes me wonder, though. Here's what I do think. Harbaugh has been successful everywhere he goes. At Stanford, was he doing this? Was he doing this with the 49ers? What's going on? Is this his secret sauce? And the other thing is, so you can't buy a ticket and send a guy to a game, but immediately after the game, you get HD footage of everything that goes on. So it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. That's besides the point. I shouldn't go back years back to when this all started. But because Fresno State is playing them, I thought it'd be fun to bring up. And I think that it will make a difference if Coach Moore is not there. I do think that because it's new faces, new voices you got to listen to. It's background noise for the team, or it's supposed to be. But how do they handle it? how do they handle all this? Well, apparently last year they were so good. They had veterans. They handled it just fine, won the national championship. How they handle it when a top G5 school comes into town and punches them in the face. We'll see. Here's Bulldogs Bob. I'm getting to the chat. I don't want Michigan to move on until after the Dogs play them. I want as much chaos as possible. Coaches suspended, players leaving in the transfer portal. I'm all for chaos. With or without him, the stars are aligning for the Dogs. We got Buckeyes fans in here, Boise fans. Oh no, this is not good. If Fresno beats Michigan, AP still probably wouldn't even rank us. Hey, Corey, good to see you. And also, I like it that way. The last couple times we've been ranked, we lost. But 12-0 season without being ranked. I don't know if that would happen. But let's just go win it all. I saw someone mentioned, I feel like I say it every year, but this is our year. Turnover. We're going to need to win the turnover battle, and we have to have a Reggie Bush-like game. Yes. Dogs defense will win them the game. I agree. Like I said earlier, 10 minutes ago, people are sleeping on the Dogs defense. We're gonna sneak up on some people, and we're gonna be a nightmare for them. So
as long as Michigan running back Edwards does not have a Reggie Bush game on us, because that guy is really good. So he's like the only thing that makes me like really scared about that Michigan offense.
Yes, I agree. New quarterback, a lot of pieces missing on the O-line. Apparently, they have good DBs, but they lost a lot of defensive players. It's going to be fun, man. I cannot wait for college football. But then once it gets here, it goes so fast, and then I wish I would have just slowed down and enjoyed the moment. Moving on to Fresno State season ticket sales, Caleb. The student season ticket sales are at a record pace right now. We have sold more student season tickets than ever before, and they are still going like crazy. And then I messaged a gentleman about just regular tickets. What do you say? Regular attendees? I don't know, not student tickets. They're flying off the shelves as well. They are outpacing last year. This has got me pumped because I was a little worried with what we have coming to town. It's not the greatest home draw, I would say, the teams coming to town. But the hype, people want their football. They want their social events. I think there's unity around it, and we are missing unity in this country. It happens in the football stadium for the most part. For the most part, I will say Boise a couple of years ago, not very united, but it's a great place to meet people and have a good time. Caleb, I'm pumped. I know you're pumped. Talk to me about these season tickets flying off the shelves at a record pace.
I think regarding the student tickets, this is one thing that the university has done really well is I can actually keep that pretty cheap. Back in our day, I think it was like $10 a game. So I can't imagine it's increased by much more than that. So, keeping it like actually attainable for, broke college students, I think is really good. And just to get just the excitement and enthusiasm on campus and getting that to translate over to a Saturday night, I think is really important for just overall, fun times on campus and around the university. So hopefully we get a sellout or two this year. I'm always a little skeptical of if the attendance numbers are going to be able to be consistent throughout the whole season. So if the Dogs start out 4-1, I think that is a good sign, and we'll have good attendance, middle to back end of the season. So, but yeah, I think it's definitely a good starting place, and get a little more money through the box office. That's good because we know our school needs it.
Yes, it does. One of the things that Mr. Classy talked about was getting students into games, like especially basketball games, which they're free, by the way. Basketball is getting students in. We got to get them in the door. And looks at, he's only been here 5 days, so I'm sure he's not going to take credit for all of this. But it's happening right now. People want it. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to change the atmosphere of the stadium when students are outside of the student section because they filled it up and now we got to push them into general admission and things like that. It's going to change the atmosphere. It's going to be louder. There's going to be chants that are going to be louder. Chants I don't necessarily like, but I agree with sometimes when the ref stinks. But it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be very exciting. And Drip dropping in the mailbag, actually, jumping to the mailbag really quick. He asked about family plans because he has not heard much push for the family plans this year. I haven't seen anything either, but I will say they are flying off the shelves. So if you want your tickets, grab them now. I just talked to someone today, actually in the office. They're going to the Michigan game, kind of like last minute deal. Hey, we're going. We're getting the boys together and going. They're all going. And then they're going to see a Detroit Tigers game. And so it's not just here, but people are going to be traveling around. But it's bucket list to go to the Big House would be, but I got a baby due the next week. That's bad timing on my part. But home schedule isn't great. Yes, big mouth, but you get Wazoo and Colorado State. Both should be solid games. It's true. Those are the sneaky games on the schedule, in my opinion. And I'm hoping we don't look over them. If Dogs upset Michigan, Bulldogs Bob says we get sellouts the rest of the year. I would take that. I take that as a hot take. And here you go. The likes of San Jose, Boise, and San Diego deserve all the bad chants from the students. Something new that's happening, and I did want to talk about this before we finish up, Caleb, with the mailbag. And we've touched on most of the mailbag, so I only have one thing on the mailbag. With Tedford leaving, when Tedford was here, very little was allowed when it came to media and access to the team. They are having a fan appreciation night, and Bulldogs Bob brings this up right here, asking us if we're going to fan appreciation night, open scrimmage this Saturday. I am not, because my brother is getting married, but this is something new for Fresno State fans and for Bulldog fans. Bill's coming after Bulldogs Bob. Go get him, Bill. When it comes to media and opening up to the media and everything, I like this. And now, granted, it's because we are in this world, but we saw it when DeBoer opened things up to practice, open the doors to practice, because Nick Saban didn't do that. Only worry is that the best know that don't let the media in. So we'll see. What do you think about this new fan appreciation night, Caleb?
Yeah, I'm not surprised, and I think it's a really cool thing. Skipper seems to be pretty open and wanting to, I guess, have a little bit more visibility to things that's going on behind the scenes and practice. So I think it's a really cool opportunity, especially for fans, and having kids get to go on the field and run a route or something, and get an autograph from a player or two. I think that's really cool and part of the process of building fan and community engagement around the team. So I think it's a great start here at the beginning of the season.
I agree. Brian says I'm not missing much. We are not missing much, Caleb, in the Big House. He says, use a different word. It's just a big hole in the ground. Totally overrated, like their team. Derek will be there with a party of 5, Red Rave traveling, and the Bulldogs Bob. We have to make sure Michigan doesn't send any spies this Saturday. Bulldogs Bob, we need to go on patrol. We should go on patrol and look for any maize blue and yellow. Or is it
Right.
maize and blue?
Yeah, maize and blue. I mean, there's a strong chance that Connor Stallions could have been at Fresno State, Purdue last year, because I mean that's like right in their neck of the woods. So, you know, hopefully the signs have been updated since last year, so that way none of the carryover material is useful to them.
Yep, I agree. Wahlberg's doing the same. With basketball camps around the Valley Bulldogs, Bob says, yeah, I've talked to some people in basketball, and they're doing everything they can. They want all the hype around basketball this year. I mean, Wahlberg is all in. So I'm very excited for this upcoming sports season. You know, and all you guys out there, like, let's push it. This could be a big year for Fresno State. One thing really quick in the mailbag, and then I'll get you out of here, Kale. We're approaching the 1 hour mark. Aaron Judge, Talking Yanks, is going to be on from Talking Yanks. They put this up. Aaron Judge will make his Nickelodeon debut in an episode of Paw Patrol. There you go. That's Aaron Judge. I don't think they did him justice. Well, he's pretty big there, but the dude is massive. And Kill, since we brought up Aaron Judge, what do you think about these guys? I think today they just started walking him. He got walked 3 times today.
I mean, at this point in the stats he's putting up, he's bound to get the Barry Bonds treatment where he's just going to get intentionally walked every game. So, I mean, I think he's approaching legend status once he's getting into kids cartoons, and especially with being on, you know, maybe the most recognizable team in the world in the Yankees. So, and I think we say it every time we talk about Aaron Judge, but I mean, the perfect ambassador for, you know, for Fresno State and just, you know, baseball in general, because he's just all around awesome dude. So happy for him, and you know, hopefully, you know, he gets royalties from this or something, because he's definitely licensing his likeness.
True. NIL deal. There you go. Are you going to watch, Caleb? You going to watch this show? You going to have it on for your little guy?
I don't think so. We weren't really on cartoons yet. We have been enjoying the Olympics though. So
oh, that's good. That's a good way to start them out. I don't know. We've never watched Paw Patrol in here. My kid loves cats and dogs, and I don't even know what Paw Patrol is. I'm guessing dogs. So we'll see. Right now he's into Lion King, Tarzan, Jungle Book.
Classics. Yeah.
Classics, good music. I will say Lion King is dark AF, man. I can't watch it. I have to skip. I skip the entire beginning of the movie until you get to Hakuna Matata, and then that's where the movie begins for me. I can't. It's dark, man.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, I will get you out of here, Caleb. Thank you. Everybody, thank you in the chat for joining us. It was a fun one. Be sure to hit follow and or subscribe. Comment down below. It really helps us out. If you're at the Fan Appreciation Night, takeaway is watch out for Michigan spies. Keep your eyes open. If you see something, say something. That's what it is. Mailbag, Bulldogs Bob, we kind of covered throughout the episode. It was just the last thing was Aaron Judge. So, all right, you guys, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless. And as always, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.